What's up everybody, I'm Jeff Straw. Welcome back to the vlog. I'm here with my new buddy Lennon Bone from Sound and Patterns. Super excited. We just wrapped up VidSummit, and it was just a mind-blowing and inspirational sort of a thing for me to meet like-minded creatives like Lennon, like a few of the other folks that I met. Just what a great opportunity, right? But I really thought that this would be great to chat with you about your channel and really the visual impact of, you know, the style and the branding and the look and feel of your channel, and how maybe that's evolved since you've started it, and some of the do's and don'ts that you've figured out. Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, man.
Or, well, not that I'm meeting you now, but good for them to meet you.
Yeah, well, I'm pumped to do this. Like, this is my favorite thing. We all make stuff, and it's so fun to like just talk about making stuff, because I think for you as a viewer, it's really valuable, I hope, to just kind of hear new opinions and stories about what we're all trying to do, because I know that's what I get the most from. So
yeah.
I think what's interesting about the visual aesthetic as it relates to music, but that's just like a piece of it. To me, the base layer is your story. Like, what are you actually trying to say? And how do you then let the visual aesthetics represent that correctly? And so for me, I think I don't have a photography or a video background at all. When I got started, I was just trying to fumble around through Photoshop and figure out like, what's my color palette? What does this look like? Because I knew from being in a band for years and working with a lot of professional photographers that like, that stuff matters, you know? But what I always thought that was kind of frustrating, that I think is different, is that you have an opportunity now to build that the way you want it. And when you work with a photographer just by themselves on a quick basis, you're kind of getting their aesthetic
A lot of times.
Yeah, which may not be how you represent yourself, or how, and so now we're in this new world of like, we all get to represent ourselves like every day. How do we want to do that? And so I've been thinking a lot about that also, and like, how am I showcasing my personality? And I'm just not good at it yet, but I've definitely been on that path. So yeah, so it's an interesting ride to try and figure out. Yeah. What do you when you guys are talking about like these kinds of things, what do you feel like are some of the things that your audience is trying to do on their own?
Well, you know what's funny, when I'm working with a client, one of the first things I like to do is listen to music. And if I'm doing my gig right, what we create on the visual side on behalf of the artist to support the brand is gonna look the way I think the music should sound like. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Like, there are certain colors that lend themselves to really angry, heavy music, and there are certain colors that lend themselves to really chill, poolside kind of vibes. And even like the amount of, to get a little bit nerdy about photography, like the amount of clarity and sharpness. Like, I'm a big guy, I love contrast, I love like hard lines, and like that's my thing. That doesn't support every single person I photograph. Now, people that find me through my Instagram because they like the shit that I do, it's kind of cool, because then it's a fit, like what you were talking about, the photographer's stamp going on the band. That's great when I get to do that, but I'm also very aware that that's not the right fit for every single artist that I might work with. Like, met a reggae singer in Miami when I was there speaking, and we did a shoot, and like, he's this white boy dread reggae dude, and that wasn't gonna fit to be edgy and hard. Like, it was in the banana leaves and lots of greens and his dog and real happy and vibey, and like, okay, now I'm changing what I normally would do to support his art and his sound. And at the end of the day, if you're not working with someone that's a professional, you can still do that, like with an Instagram filter, right? Maybe picking a filter and a color palette that you feel works well for you, and then sticking with it, right? So like, if I'm gonna do a shoot with someone, they're gonna get a ton of photos to use on further campaigns. If it's a DIY approach with a new iPhone 11 Pro that looks fucking amazing, you don't necessarily, you still need a photographer. But like, you know, there's so many good DIY hacks, like at least be consistent with the approach. So like you said, like figuring out your colors, figuring out, and it's not like your Coca-Cola and if you change colors midway, someone's gonna freak out. We're so much, when you're a baby brand and a baby band, like you have the flexibility to try stuff out and see if people like it or not.
Yeah, so well, just to kind of give them what my process is right now is like, I actually, because I don't have like that kind of mind, I don't understand and think about color palettes that way. My wife is an artist, so she does more. But I just went to Canva and found a color palette that they had laid out in their brand situation, and I was like, oh, this feels good. It's got some blues, like a little bit of a darker yellow, and I feel like blues fit me because it's sort of like, I'm kind of a calm sort of dude in this space, and then so that felt good. And so what I'll do then is like just make sure that I'm sort of matching everything to that.
Perfect.
So I'll go into Photoshop and maybe I'll highlight the shadows or something and like drop in some of those colors sometimes. Or
you're way further ahead than you're gonna give yourself credit for.
Yeah, maybe.
That's slick.
Yeah, and then so even on my Instagram I try to like change it up a little bit, but yeah, so I'll just take it, and I have a couple presets in the Lightroom app that I use, and that way I'm at least in a starting point that's going to be similar, but I'll always go back and look at my favorite photo of recent and try to match those two.
Smart.
So there's always a reference. Otherwise, like, I'm just not that aesthetically understanding of like what's happening, so I have to like always go back and look.
Okay, so it's so typical for creators to like have this imposter syndrome, because what you just laid out is really well thought out, man. Like you're
Good,
so far beyond where I think a lot of people are, and part of it's probably because you're editing video and you're savvy now to this world.
Yeah.
But like that's you're doing the damn thing, man.
Yeah,
so nice work.
Thanks. Yeah, so that's like some simple things that I think are easy, either free or really inexpensive.
There's a really good tool called, and I'm gonna blow the URL, but I'll find it and make sure I drop in the right one. It's called like Palette.io, I think is the one. Okay. And basically what they let you do is you start with a color you love. Like, so you've got like your blue that maybe, and then it says, it gives you, do you want to go very narrow, so like blue to light blue to dark blue? Do you want to go diametrically opposed? Or there's a couple different ways that it can help you get your supporting color palette. It's so cool. It's free. It's a free tool. So you drop in, and if you're working with a client, same thing, right? It's just so easy to bust out a really brand palette that makes sense. Like, I'm not a classically trained painter or artist. Like, my color theory is shooting from the hip. Yeah. But with tools like that in play, it really helps you design something that's going to be like aesthetically pleasing to most everyone. Yeah, and so I'll send you that link.
Yeah, please. And I would also say to people that, you know, don't be afraid to take a whole bunch of pictures, especially if you're not good at it, because we often get uneasy about like, well, I don't have these photos and I don't know where to do it, and so just finding somebody that's willing to sort of help or maybe return the favor. Finding
the cool spot with the cool square painting things. This was the whole conference. This was covered by booths. So when we were looking for a spot to shoot these videos, I was like, where did that come from, right? Like having an eye for, oh, that'll make a nice backdrop, right? And then being not afraid to bust out the cameras and make some content.
Before you even made a visual though, I would focus on your story. Like what, you know, if you're building a brand, which you are with music in general, like you're not just selling music. The music is a calling card to you, right? And so if you're thinking like, what are you actually trying to say? What's your message, and how do you say that story? And so an easy way to do that is like, think of the story structure, the hero's journey. So like, character wants something, has to overcome something to get it, is transformed by the process. Like, what's the transformation that you've gone through to get to this place? Think about that and communicate that story so somebody has something to attach themselves to, attach the imagery to, all of those things, because, you know, just images don't always work on social media. Like, as a matter of fact, they work less and less now because there's so much. People need a story to latch themselves onto. So that's I would start there and then work your way into these little visual hacks.
Love that. So, story first. And that was echoed throughout these couple days.
Huge, yeah.
So, Lennon, thank you.
Dude, I love it.
So again, I'm Jeff Straw. Thanks so much for being here. If you dig the video, please do me a solid, hit subscribe, and with that, I'm out. it.